up, everybody? Welcome to the Power Circle, powered by the Ohio Media School and Z1079. I am your moderator, host, and afternoon lady, Road Digger. So, first of all, I just want to reiterate some things that are going to happen tonight. First of all, we are going to give you the gems, the game on how to get into this amazing industry that is media. So that's radio, TV, sports, all of that. Okay, dropping gems from people that I know very well that you may have heard of, or maybe you don't know, but we are people in this industry. So it's coming straight from people all up in this thing. Okay, it's coming all the facts, all the good stuff. Plus, you'll get to participate. So I want to encourage you guys to, on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, to make sure that you are registering. You can ask questions, and then we will answer them. But because of you participating and registering on those pages and stuff like that, you're going to have a chance to win some really, really amazing prizes, like some Apple AirPods. We have some Beats headphones, and we even have $500. All right. So today joining me, I have my fam. I got my boy Ed Powell from Ohio Media School. I have Don Action Jackson from Ohio Media School, and my boss, who is the operations manager of Radio One Cleveland. A Plus is going to be joining us to again drop these gems. We're going to give you insight on what it takes to be in this industry, if it's for you, and basically all that good stuff. All right. So welcome to, well, before we do that, I'm sorry, I just lied because we got a giveaway first. So first, let me give away this first giveaway. We have these Apple AirPods. I need you guys to make some like virtual noise for Shy Santiago, who is taking home those Apple AirPods. Congratulations to you. Again, this is your opportunity to register on our Facebook and YouTube page. Hit that link and you got a chance to win these headphones and the $500 throughout this broadcast. All right. So before we bring on Ed and Don, just make sure you guys share and like this, because again, if anybody wants to be in media, if you've ever told yourself, I could do what Ro does on the radio, what all these people do that you see on TV and stuff like that, this is all the information that you need. And hopefully we answer all your questions and inspire you to get into this amazing industry. So welcome to the Power Circle, Ed and Don.
Hello. What's happening? What's happening, Ro?
All right, so a lot of you guys might know Ed too. Also works for Radio One, so he has best of both worlds going on right now. So shout out to Ed, shout out to John Action Jackson in the building from Ohio Media School. We're gonna dive right into it. First question is for you, Ed. Want to ask you, what skills do you teach at OMS? Because you are an instructor.
Oh well, first of all, thanks for this opportunity, Ro, and everybody. The Ohio Media School is the greatest school I ever been to. I am a graduate of the Ohio Media School, and right now I am teaching out there. I'm what you call an IA. You know, I help out the instructors, great instructors out there. What I do is I help out the students. We go into the studios, help them out with the Adobe Edition. That's what we use with all of our equipment and all of our on-air studios. And we help out all of our students. First, we introduce the students, to the board. We walk them through how to use the equipment, and we to tag them along so they can record their first commercial. So when they do that, you can see the enthusiasm on their faces. Hey, I just made this first commercial. And that's not even the tipping point. So basically, I just help out all of our students, and it's a great feeling when you see them and they make their first commercial, and you can see, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and I'm really a motivator as well at the Ohio Media School. So I do it all. It's a great feeling to do that.
Dope. Thank you, Ed. So those of you who know me and hear my voice talking about OMS all the time, you've heard me say that I also attended the school. And one of the things that I appreciate is that it is a hands-on program. So it's not sitting there in front of books and paper, but hands-on. So Don, let's get with you and talk about how hands-on is the program at OMS.
Yeah, it's really, that's probably the one thing that is the most appealing about it, is that, no matter how digital we get, no matter how technologically forward we still want to put your hands on the camera or the microphone or the board. You still got to run those things manually to a certain extent. So, we have like 12 audio production studios for the students to use with all the equipment that they're going to need to record commercials and podcasts and any of those things. And then at the same time, you also have we have a full TV production studio. So We've got a green screen room where you can actually put stuff behind it. You be on the beach or wherever it is you need to be doing for making your music video. They're making music videos here right now. As a matter of fact, we have a news desk and full production facilities there, so we can show people how this actually is done for real. We have a music production studio as well, so people can go in there and see how that kind of stuff is done. But it's all, we teach them how to do hands-on. We have 3 actual working online radio stations. They can be doing shows. We teach them how to run the board. We teach them mic techniques and all those things you see in the commercials for Ohio Media School. And the stuff that you do every single day, Ro, we can show them how to do that because they're here with full facilities to be able to do that, which is the most beautiful thing about this.
Nice. And that's cool too, because being so hands-on, when you get into a radio station or a TV station, and you already kind of been practicing or learning how to do these things, and it's kind of like you got the cheat code a little bit. Ed, let's talk about how long the program is.
Well, the program is about 8 months long, and we have the following classes. We have radio and TV broadcasting. We have media sales and marketing, sports broadcasting, audio production, film and video production. So we have a lot of things you can go and get into. I know a lot of people do the emphasis program, the sports emphasis program, and the beat program. The guys want to go to the beat room and make out the beats and everything. So it's very diverse. Again, like the program is 8 months long, and you have a lot to learn. First, start with radio and television broadcast again. Then you get media sales. They teach you how to do podcasting, and they teach you if you're not good on social media, we teach you how to do Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. We have a session of podcast room where you can make your own live podcast as well. It's a great thing to do for 8. Like I said, it's 8 months long, so you have a lot to learn in that 8 months, plus internships.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ed. All right, Don, back to you. We're going to talk about financial aid, okay? The question is, do you guys provide it? But I talk about it all the time, so I know y'all provide it, so let's talk about it.
It's funny. They have some people here that are a lot more well-versed in financial aid. They do have a number of different programs. I know they also have a program. I know they, especially if you've been in the military, they have something special for that. They have a program that is tailored to just about anyone's financial needs. There's a lady named Laverne here at the school that does an amazing job with everyone. And, even to the point where if there's a need, she'll pull them out of my class. Hey, come on down the hall. We need you to figure this out. So they're constantly working with people to make sure that their needs are met when it comes to that. If you want to dive into that a little further, because I'd hate to give some misinformation, because that's not my hey, Armand, what's going on? See him on the screen here. Definitely call the school, and I can give you the number here. It's 216-503-5900. And when you talk to the recruiters, also talk to them about financial aid, and they will point you in the right direction, which is Laverne's office, and she'll set things up with you here at the school.
Perfect. Thank you, Don. All right, Ed, one more question for you, and that is, does OMS help students after they graduate with finding employment?
Well, that's a great question. That's a great question. When you graduate, you have to start off going to our, when you're in the school for the 8 months, you have to have a relationship with our career services. And the ladies there, they will help you, okay? The career services, they help out the student. You have to have 160 hours of internship during the 8th-month program before you can graduate. Now, they have all of the hookups, all right? The ladies have all of the hookups in career services, and they can help the students get internships. And the internships, it may turn into real-time experiences and real-time opportunities. So, we try to help our students out. And then the good part is when the students graduate, you can always come back and do stuff here, on our campus.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, and even during the process when they're doing this, even while they're going to school here, the internships will come up while they're actually learning. So exactly. Those types of things happen, and then like Ed said, a lot of times it will definitely open up to something a little bit bigger. But career services here, they're constantly fielding stuff and giving people opportunities to do things like we just at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction week. We had 2 very big days down there, including they got to broadcast from the Sirius XM studios down there as well. So they got a real sense of working in real-time radio and actually seeing an event unfold in front of them and interview artists as they were coming off the stages and everything. It was great.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you, fellas. We're going to keep you guys here with us because there will be more questions that you guys can definitely help us out with. Shout out to everybody that's tapped in. Leave in the comments. We appreciate you guys tapped in. Don't forget to like and share this information. This is great information. Now, on to giveaway number 2, which is these Beats headphones. We have to make some virtual noise for Deshaun Pate to come those headphones. Congratulations going out to Deshaun, which means there's only one more prize that we have, and that is the $500. So if you want to win that, you got to go register, tap our Facebook link, our YouTube link, and get it done. All right. So right now, what we're going to do is bring in my guy, my boss. He is the operations manager of Radio 1 Cleveland. This is A+. A+, welcome.
What's up? What's up? Good evening, everybody. What's happening?
What's up, everybody?
Hey,
What happening right here? All right, so we're just going to dive right in. So shout out to the Ohio Media School again for putting this on, but also to the students and graduates that participated in the questions that are going to be asked right now. We're going to give them all this good knowledge. Shout out to Savannah. She said, why is diversity, especially for Black women, so low in the sports media industry? What do you guys think?
Wow.
Well, it's funny because I was just watching Sunday Night Football, and they actually have this new Black female anchor on there in between, during halftime and before. And again, I had not seen her before. I think she's recently hired there, but I think it's just one of the things. You're still fighting years of it not being diverse, and not especially when it comes to women in sports. It just, because so many men play most of the major sports, it tends to be them that are doing a lot of the anchoring and the work. And now, thankfully, they're finding really good qualified women and putting them in those positions, and it's happening more and more. And you're starting to see that, especially on a national level. It's starting to creep up more nationally.
Yeah, just to add to what Don said, I believe you're talking about Maria Taylor, who's now on Sunday Night Football at NBC. She just came from ESPN. And, I think for a long time, as Don said, I don't think the executives at the networks were actively looking for candidates who would fit the mold, such as Chiney Ogwumike, I believe her name is. She's a WNBA player, but is also on ESPN NBA telecast as well. And Malika Andrews now is hosting NBA Today on ESPN. So we're just starting to see an influx of representation in the industry, and it's just really starting to take hold. So hopefully this continues. But yeah, I would agree that I don't think they were actively looking for quite a long time.
Yeah, and I've definitely seen a lot myself.
Well, I agree with both of what everybody's talking about. But I can remember, the first woman of color was Jane Kennedy. Way back in the days when they had the NFL Live back in the 70s. She was the first one, and you had Pam Oliver, Lisa Salters. Matter of fact, last night I was looking at a basketball game, the South Carolina Gamecocks. They had Tiffany Green. She did the play-by-play, did an excellent job. But yeah, we need to do more to have more women in front of the camera and in the back of the camera as well. You know what I mean? We need that. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I said that's the thing, is that I think women have always been involved, but they've always been sideline reporters, and that's it. And I think to get more women in anchor positions and play-by-play, some more prominent positions, they're doing a little bit more of that, but they're not. I think as we see more and more women succeed, whenever you see success, you start to see more people moving into those roles.
Definitely. So Savannah, I hope that this encourages you to continue your dreaming, that if that's what you want to do, because we definitely need to see more of it. Back to Savannah, she said, if I'm in high school, what things can I be doing right now if I want to learn broadcasting before college?
I can say the internet is your best friend. I mean, that was something that helped me when I was in high school, actively looking at websites. I mean, back then it was something like FMQB, Radio and Records, and I probably should have been on, looking at the board, looking at Algebra 2 or whatever class I was in. But I was on the computer, like looking at these radio trade websites and just trying to inform myself about the industry. So that's just one thing I could just suggest is just, do research on your own. It's never too early to just start looking up, things about your trade.
Yeah, actually, and when I first started, and I'm a million years old, so in my day, I actually created my own radio station in my bedroom, and so the way to do that now is online, is to actually kind of pretend to do what you hear people like Ro Digga doing every single day. If you you know, if she's somebody that you listen to that you're inspired by, or if there's somebody that you listen to or you watch, if you're doing television, you know, you can create that in, you know, on video. You can create that via audio. Just pretend that you're on the radio, pretend that you're doing play-by-play, pretend you're doing any of that stuff. Develop the skills on your own. And yes, like I said, look where the radio professionals look. You know, All Access is the main one for radio at the moment. But yeah, definitely, you know, try to emulate what you want to be. And that's how I did it. I pretended to be the radio people that I loved, and then I developed my own style. But you have to kind of, you know, most people tend to learn this before broadcast schools popped up by basically just, you know, being put in the position and learning through trial and error. That still is a really good way to develop some chops. You know, you can definitely use the internet to help you along, but, you know, you have to do the work.
And I would agree too, if you're going to a high school that have a television or a radio program, getting that as well and stuff. I know a lot of schools have that, and that would be a good thing for you as well to get into.
And then I'll just add real quick, social media obviously is such a great resource because we literally can type in a name or something that allows us to kind of just network, you know what I mean? So it's like, just because you're in high school doesn't mean that you still can't make these relationships. So network with people, you know what I mean? If you're local and you want to reach out to the me's and the DJs and the creative people in media, find them on social media, because my thing is you just never know who can kind of help you get to that next level. So don't be afraid to network. Don't be afraid to tell people what it is you want to do. And if you're passionate about it, whether you're good at it right now or not, you always set yourself up to learn and be better, and for people to understand your passion and help support your passion. So
it's a big up too when you get somebody in social media that you idolize that responds back. It's like a big deal. It's really good confidence for you as well.
Definitely. All right, so shout out to Sandra. How do you adjust to the change in time?
I guess the old guy should answer that. Changes in time. The changes over the years, I'm assuming it's kind of hard. It's a little vague from that question, but if you're asking over time how things have changed, it's usually the same basic properties. It's you know, back when I started, you were spinning records. You still do that as a mobile DJ now, but actually on the radio, we would spin actual vinyl. And then it was cartridge tapes that looked like those 8 tracks that you would put in the players to play the commercials and play the music off of those. But it wasn't any different than playing the record, right? You still hit the button and play it. If you're using a computer, it was a box at one point that had, you know, we had CDs, and then we had a box with everything kind of electronically recorded into it. But you still had to hit the button. You still had to talk on the radio. You still had to do the same things you were doing. And then when they moved everything to computers, again, it's really not much different. The music is still the same sounding through your headphones. You just have to learn how to do whatever it is that's in front of you. I used to use reel-to-reel tapes to record people off of the phone when they would do requests or talk on the radio. Well, now we do it on a computer screen, but it's still the same aspects of editing. We used to cut the tape and splice it together. Now we just basically do it electronically. So everything really has the same properties. It's just a matter of using and learning how to use the technology, which is basically these days just learn the basics of using a computer, which we teach at Ohio Media School, plug, you know, and learn how to do those things. Just learn how to do them in a different form. That's all. But learn the basic property. How do these things work? You know, how does a talkover work? How does running a board work? How do all those basic things work? You learn those basics, then as things move and change, it's easy to adapt.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of Don. I mean, I think the question or the answer to the question is right there. You adjust. You have to adapt. I didn't have a chance to work with the reel-to-reel. I always hear talk about the grease pencil or whatnot. But when I first came in, it was a shortcut. So that's like me saying, you know, when they took the shortcut out of the studio, which is like a little wheel where you use to edit up calls, when they took that out and they replaced it with another system called Vox Pro, which is a more advanced editing system for phone calls. That, you know, if I would have griped and said, hey man, bring that shortcut back, then I'm not adapting properly. I'm trying to stay in the past, and we always have to move forward. There's always going to be some new technology. Just for a second, during the pandemic last year. You know, we're still in it, but, you know, during the, beginning, there was a lot of, podcasts, or a lot of interest, I would say, in the Rodecaster Pro, which is a portable podcast machine. And now it's kind of like omnipresent all throughout many podcasts that I watch. You know, if you were to see it, you could look it up right now. I would kind of pick it up. It's kind of like right next to me. This is it right here. But if you can use this anywhere, and looking at the board, it's just like a portable radio studio. So going back and seeing those wide boards from years ago, and now seeing this right here being condensed into like a portable studio, it's just all about adapting. So like, you have to follow that whole timeline, and stay up with the times, and never be afraid of change.
If you look at those big boards, I mean, they basically, we were using only a section of them half the time. It looked like you needed a pilot's license to run those big boards. But, it's very true. We teach them. We have 4 of those boards that are a little bit bigger, and then we have 8 of those Rodecasters that you're talking about. And I teach them side by side. They're basically the same thing. It's just there's less on them because so much is done digitally now. There's less that needs to be done through the board. So, like you say, it's just adapting. I remember those what was it? The shortcut. My buddy Casper, who used to work over at KISS, he's had one personal one. He would pick it up and take it home with him. And he was like, oh no, I can't take this with me, because the Vox Pro was actually a desktop, so he couldn't take it home with him. But he adapted, and that's how it's done.
Thank you, guys. All right, shout out to Ashley. She said, "What's the best way to get into a job quickly after graduating?"
Apply early and often.
I agree. Apply, send all your stuff out. And tape the resume. The best tape in the resume, and start sending it out. Who knows? Send it to everybody.
It's MP3s now, and basically get those out to anybody that's looking. Old school. That's all right. But yeah, you send them to again, all access radio. If you're doing it on radio, you go actually knock on the doors. There's still nothing says you can't go to Channel 3 if you want to be a news reporter and bring your demo to them. A presence, you showing up says a lot. If they don't have the ability for you to do that, obviously you can send it. But I always say go there, because it shows initiative. Yeah, we can do a lot virtually now, but whenever you show up on the doorstep and say, I want to actually do reporting, and I have something to show you. If they say, well, leave it here, then definitely leave it. Or if they say email it, then email it. But if you're there and you got it on a flash drive, and somebody mails, is somebody actually here? Nobody ever shows up here. Okay, well, we'll bring them back because you're special, because nobody ever does that. So, don't be afraid to do that, but definitely, put something together, continue, whatever it is. If you're learning how to do this, put together what we call a demo here at the school. That's what we have everybody do, is put together, it's like a greatest hits highlight reel, 20 seconds of this commercial, 30 seconds of this podcast, thing after thing after thing for about a minute and a half to show them what you can do. And you can even go online and type video demo or whatnot into YouTube, find it and see what a demo is supposed to be, and then create one of your own that could get you some work, because you have the ability to do a lot of this at home now.
I just want to add too, the key word that I read in hers that stood out to me was quickly. Just for anybody watching and wondering, it's not always going to be a quick process either. So just keep that in mind. And so persistence and just building those relationships is going to be key, because if a person understands, okay, well, this person's passionate, they've been consistent, they're professional, and you're, like I said, you're just being consistent and waiting your turn. It can still be quickly, but maybe not as quick as you want. Just don't get discouraged. You know what I mean? That's what I really wanted to convey.
Well,
it might not be.
No, and take any job they'll give you. If you work in promotions, and you're not getting on the air right away, just keep letting them know you want to get on the air. I worked with a woman, Crystal Cologne, who graduated from here. When I met her maybe about 8 or 9 years ago, she was putting together a demo tape to get on the air at one of the radio stations at iHeart. And they didn't have room for her at that point. She became the promotions associate there and worked there in that position for a lot of years while recording commercials and other things as well, not getting on the air live just at that point. Then they found an overnight position for her maybe 6-7 years down the line. And now she's on the morning show of the oldies station that I used to work at there because they changed that morning show around. So she's on the air with the morning show there. But it took her a while to get there. But all along the way, she was still doing some of what she wanted, but she also worked in another department. So be prepared for it to take time, like Rodiga says, but definitely don't try to get anything quickly. Definitely pay your dues. I think that's one of the bigger problems these days when it comes to talent is that a lot of people don't pay their dues and they get rushed in for some sort of special reason, and then they have to develop into a good personality. If you pay your dues, you develop properly. Doesn't mean it can't happen another way, but it happens more often with somebody who has earned their stripes. So be willing to do that.
Cool. All right. So none of these questions are kind of like in order. So this one is a little off subject from that. But Andre said, what's the best way to generate contracts for advertising, licenses, and rights?
What?
Come on, Don.
Is that somebody that wants to work in sales? I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm looking at the question.
Yeah. The best way to generate
it's like a sales question.
Yeah.
We teach marketing here at the school. If Catherine Miracle was here, I'm sure she'd be able to. She teaches that as a course. Yeah. But I wish I had an answer for that. I just don't.
I don't have that answer. I wish I could. I wish I could be some help here, but
I know we're a power circle. I know we're a power circle and everything, and it sounds like we're on the board of Amazon, but really,
forgive us for
power
that.
Yeah, it's just a name. It's just a name.
It's a name only.
But it is something that does, work into media. So, just do your research.
That's right.
Do your research, all right?
That's right.
We'll move on.
That's a good lesson learned. When you don't know, tell people what they can do. Don't act like you know.
That's right.
Right. All right, from Patrice, how does one get started in voiceover work?
Usually ends up being if you set up a website and start recording. Nowadays, you can just start recording things. I think a lot of times voiceover comes from people that are already doing it. They hear somebody like Rodiga on the air, or they hear me doing an afternoon show. They say, "Oh, I like that person's voice. We'd love them to be doing this kind of thing." And it slowly builds a lot of time. Again, a lot of times on social media, you put together a YouTube page or a SoundCloud page or a website where you have voiceover examples. And they also have voiceover companies that actually will, you can send demos to their and if they like you, they will invite you into their stable, and then you can get work that way. But the best thing that you can do is to go online to any of these number of voiceover websites where they have scripts that you can read, commercials that actually exist, and again, emulate what you hear in commercials with people whose voices I'm talking about on television as well as radio. Emulate the good voiceover artist that you want to be, and just do it a lot. And then when you start getting good sounding stuff, post it.
Yeah, I agree with Don said too. Just practice make perfect. And you get those scripts and just read, and make yourself a great audition tape and send it out. Because again, like what Don said, there's a lot of houses that will take your stuff, listen to it and everything. And if they like your voice and stuff, they'll give you a call back. I have several of my friends. They do a lot of voiceovers for companies around the country, and you can make some money doing it. You can.
We teach.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I said we teach that here at the school. That and the more that you learn from people who know what they're doing, talk to people who are doing it as well, and they'll give you good advice. A+.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say now, you know, I think with social media and specifically to having a TikTok, I think it's like a whole new breeding ground for voiceover talent, because you got all these videos now where they're how-tos or whatever. They got a lot of users who are just using TikTok to do voiceover. So it's kind of interesting now. They're coming from all angles, but you know, definitely, I think there's like the examples that Don pointed out, you know, are very key in getting started.
Yeah.
So.
And I think one of the things, Patrice, you know, that I should let you know, and I don't know what your voice sounds like, but the nice thing about nowadays is that not everybody who does voiceover sounds like this. You know, everybody doesn't have to have this beautifully textured voice. They're looking for people that sound normal,
authentic.
You know, yeah, authentic. Those big voice guys aren't getting as much work. You know, years ago, that's what you heard. Was, you know, women had to sound a certain way, guys had to sound a certain way. That's not the case anymore. You know, we talked about diversity earlier. They're looking for people, you know, character voices of all types.
So I want to also just reiterate something too, because this is something that I share with a lot of our staff and interns and stuff like that. But, you know, Don mentioned, you know, emulate different voices that you hear and practice off of certain people, but always remember, like, to be yourself. You know, your voice is your voice for a reason, and somebody's going to pay you for your voice. And you don't have to sound like the next person that's been on the radio or on TV. Your voice, there's a room for your voice somewhere if this is really what you want to do. So just be authentically yourself. Practice. And yeah, just trust that, you know, your voice can be used somewhere and be appreciated somewhere. So
yeah, and when I say emulate, I'm really talking more about technique and about how, you know, how to actually do.
But let's keep it a buck. Some people do that. Some people will literally try to copy a sound, and then they're wondering why they can't convey their personality or their voice on that platform, because it's not them. It's just not authentically them.
Right, we already got them. Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, there are certain technical things they're looking for voiceovers, but yes, and definitely, you want to be yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
I had to believe that with this voice. So.
Thank you, Patrice. Let me see here. All right, so we're going to go down to Madrina. I hope I said that right. Do I need a college degree to work in radio or in broadcasting?
No.
Absolutely not. If that was
No.
I know I barely graduated high school, so you know. And, you know,
don't let my name fool you, please.
Yeah.
No.
And one of the reasons for this broadcast here is that, you know, Ohio Media School, you know, it's proof that experience counts. You know, that's why it's hands-on, and that's why it's needed. You know, it's more about experience. You know, I don't know too many people with really high-level college degrees doing this. You know, they tend to be doing other work.
If I can say something, Don, you know, when I went to the school, I was in the studio just doing some work and stuff, and there was a gentleman who went past, and then I didn't think nothing of it, and he came by again, and he went past again for a second time. Then he walked in the studio and asked me to play what I was working on, and I didn't know the gentleman was a program director for an old AM radio station in Brecksville, and that moment he offered me a job doing overnights. You know, so it can, you know, it can happen. You know what I mean? As far as you need a college degree, well, not really now. Let's go to OMS. We get you hooked up.
Cool. All right. So, and then shout out to everybody that is sending their questions in live time. We are definitely going to address those as well. Before I do one of those, though, I'm going to go to Vashon, who said, what made y'all want to get into this industry?
Ah, man, being a fan of the culture first and foremost. Like, I was like, okay, I can't rap, can't sing. What can I do? You know, I would see like people on TV, whether it was Donnie Simpson coming down that elevator on Video Soul or Joe Claire out somewhere, you know, with Big Les interviewing somebody on Rap City. And, you know, I was like, okay, maybe this is it. And from there, I would like read the source, and the back of the source would have like the ads or whatnot, and it would have like DJ equipment in there. So like for like maybe like my 10th or 11th birthday, Christmas rather, I asked my mom, hey, like went to the back of the source, like, hey, can you give me these turntables? Like it's a starter kit, it's like the same price of a PlayStation. So I got that, and I was like, okay, maybe I could do something with this. And then from there, I just started like doing more knowledge about radio, and that's when like the advent of the internet really started kicking in, and that became somewhere I just started like, search out information about radio. So that was really like the key, that right there, just first being a fan of the culture and trying to find where did I belong in it was like the first thing that piqued my interest. And then radio came along. I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to be involved. So that's how I got in.
I wanted to be a game show host, actually. I used to watch those guys and then decided I want to do something on camera. And then I also had this love of music at the same time. I used to steal all my sister's records and built this huge collection. And, before they actually had DJ equipment in the stores, I went to Radio Shack and bought a little mic mixer and scouted the whole neighborhood garage sales for an extra turntable when I figured out how they went back and forth. So this small turntable I had, and then this really big one I bought at somebody's house, and figured out how to put those together with a microphone. Here's the funny thing you'll laugh at. I created my own little bedroom radio station, but I wanted commercials on my station. And I didn't know how you got commercials. So I took my little cassette recorder and I recorded the commercials off the radio so that I could act commercials on my radio station. And I did that. And didn't realize I was training myself to be on the radio by imitating the guys that were on the air and becoming my own guy. I had a little on-air sign on my door and then found out you can actually go to school for this. And so that's how it led into doing what we do now.
Wow, great stories. I think I took a long way around to go into broadcasting. I was in the Marine Corps, and I was aboard the ship. And a gentleman in the Navy, he worked for the Armed Forces Radio and Television Service, and we got to be friends. And he let me come down there to see different things. And then once I got back to land, I went to Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, where the Armed Forces Radio and Television Service was at, and got the chance to look at all their broadcasting things, and then listen to a guy named Charlie Tuna and all that stuff. And I got bit. And so that was still in the Marine Corps. So once I got to the Marine Corps, I was working here in Cleveland. Then I got bit by it again, and I saw the commercial about the school. So I went to the school, and I said, well, let me go ahead and go to the school. The school is really good. This is what I need to do. I saw it in the military. That's what I want to be. I want to be the next king of the night. That's what I wanted to be. So I went to the school and everything, and hey, everything got worked out. So that was my thing, coming up. Like I said, I long time ago in the military, and a lot of people don't know that you do have radio and television broadcasting in the military. A lot of people don't know that.
What was your story, Ro?
Mine was, I actually wanted to be a veterinarian. I still do, because I just have a passion and love for animals, but my music passion toppled that. And I think where it all started was growing up. Like, I fell asleep, woke up, did everything I possibly could with the radio on. Like, it was always the radio on. And that was just always something that brought me joy. Plus it, gave me my music love that I had. And I don't know, one day I just listened to the radio and I said to myself, I could do that. Like, I want to do that. I could do that. And I just pursued it ever since. And so mine's kind of short, but it's just my love for music and just having radio in my life every day kind of like set me up. It was like, hey, your soft behind can't handle that. Go talk on the radio.
Nice.
Yeah. Got a couple of questions in to those that are viewing live right now. Shout out to y'all. Someone said, what jobs are out there for music writers and performers?
As far as in the industry, I mean, if you're a music writer and performer, you're trying to get into the radio industry, maybe as a means to make connections. I mean, there are quite a few success stories. I mean, for one, I would say Ludacris is a success story. He started working at our sister station in Atlanta years and years ago, and he really was going up there just once again, just being relentless, knocking on the door like, hey, how can I be a part of it? That was started with a part-time opportunity, which turned to a full-time opportunity. He was doing nights on the station, like doing commercials where he was rapping during the commercials. So from there, people started to take a liking to it, and somebody really, after being independent, Def Jam, reached out, and the rest is history. So it's a way to build connections. I can't say, hey, you work at the radio station to get your song played. It's not like that, but it's definitely a means to network. So if you're going into it saying, hey, I want to, be, available, make the most of this opportunity as far as not just like being on the clock and doing nothing, but actually doing the job at hand, and then as well making, connections, then sure, go right ahead. But I don't know about exact like jobs for music writers and performers though.
Yeah, I mean, the internet is obviously the answer for a lot of this stuff these days. There's so many independent people making music, and you just have to be relentless in making sure that, getting your music into the right hands, and I guess the answer I always give people is find somebody that believes in you, that can manage you, and that means talking to somebody that's already had some level of success. And if you can network with one of those people and then get connected with somebody who actually isn't just a fly by night, but somebody that actually knows somebody, I always say tag along with somebody who's already got some level of success, maybe doing a little better than you are. That's how, and then let them hear your music, and maybe they can put it along to the right people. It's all about networking, and people can make music sitting on their bed these days. So it's not about the opportunity to make the music. It's about getting it to the right people now.
Thank you. All right. How does one make connections when whoever they are trying to network with and connect with is not responding? What would you guys suggest?
Maybe talk to somebody else. If they're not going to answer you back, then they're probably not very successful themselves. I mean,
keep on pushing. Keep on pushing.
Yeah,
keep on taking your stuff out there.
You make it so they can't ignore you, or until all the way up to the restraining order period. But no, I mean, don't do it. No, don't do it. But I mean, I do think that there's something to be said when people are not responding to you. It's usually one of two things: either they're not very good at responding in general, and they're not probably very as successful as you might think they are, or they just don't have their eye on you at the moment. And you can keep trying, but don't beat your head against the wall. Spread yourself out a little bit and try to find some other people that can respond, that will respond to you. But you can't make somebody respond. I think that's the one thing you got to be. You don't take it personally, because it's probably not you.
Yeah.
If they reject you or they don't respond to you, they don't know you well enough for it to be a personal thing. It's just that's where they are, and just keep trying. You can't stop trying. You can never stop trying.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So shout out to Shondell. How does one start a podcast and be successful at it?
I mean, the podcast community is like growing by the day. So right. I think whatever that subject is that, is your passion that you want to make a podcast about, just be prepared, because like I said, it's the growth, the field is growing, it's ever growing. And it's definitely, opportunities to grow, but just have your unique perspective. Make sure you bring that, make sure you're focused, and just attack it like it's, the best damn podcast available. That's really what I could say about it.
Yeah. And that to tail on that, it's exactly right. We teach that here at the school. And that's another thing, we talk, one of the reasons we're here is to talk about what's available here at Ohio Media School. We teach podcasting directly. That's why we changed the name from Ohio Center for Broadcasting to Ohio Media School, because there's so many more opportunities for more voices in podcasting. But, it's as simple as getting one of those roadcasters that A+ was showing you and connecting your microphone to it and maybe having a conversation with somebody who is of like mind. And you can do a podcast about absolutely anything these days. Right. And if you're focused on it and you have a passion for it, you're always going to find new things to say about it. And so that's the key, is to make sure that you have something to say every single week whenever you have that podcast. Be consistent. Don't just put a podcast up every few weeks or something, or when the mood hits you. Be consistent. And then there are a number of steps, too many to go into here, to get it posted places where it needs to be. But again, we teach you how to do that here at the school. There's any number of outlets to teach you how to get that done. But the key is what A+ was saying. Be passionate about something. And, I don't care if it's about flip-flops. You have the biggest flip-flop collection okay, fine. If there's something to do weekly about that, there's an audience probably out there for it. It may not be the biggest one, but you have to, and don't expect it to be huge right away. It takes time to grow.
Yeah, definitely takes time. And also just make sure you guys are, again, we always say practicing and, kind of just sampling, looking at other podcasts. There's a world full of podcasts on our phones. Literally, I listen to a podcast a day. So, listen to how they talk to the audience. A lot of people that want to get in media, it's intimidating when, for example, myself, I sit in front of one microphone. And for some people that's intimidating because you understand that you're talking to so many people in this one microphone. So, you gotta get a comfort. You have to have the right kind of delivery to really reach your audience, so just listen to how other podcasts are done, how they're bringing up subjects and how they're starting new subjects and stuff like that. So that way you can understand how to really get the ear of your listener. And that goes podcast, radio, TV, anything. So
yeah, personable and relatable.
Yep.
That's the key. That's why Rodiga is so successful. One-on-one. She has that one-on-one personality. She talks to you. She's not talking to a group. She's talking to you. And that's
I might talk to you like I'm already kicking it,
Yeah.
And be, woo!
That's cool, but that's all right. That's an excitement moment, But that's the key is with podcasts. Podcasts are intimate. If you think about it, they're very one-on-one. So that's, you have to do it like a podcast. You can't come in like DJ Khaled, like you're talking to 20,000 people doing a podcast. What's up? That's not a podcast. That's a different venue, but there are some people that don't know the difference. So
yeah, for sure. Kind of relatable. We have someone who said, I went to Ohio Media School and have my own podcast. Can I send my digital resume? Okay, Caleb.
I think that's an A+ question.
I'm about to say, okay, sure. That's me. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
I can't do anything with it. You've already been through here, so congratulations on getting through. By the way,
that's right. That's right.
But that's we're moving on to the big boys here, eh?
I mean, hey, Caleb, yeah, sure. She has 2 demos ready. Also, by the way,
demos ready.
2 demos ready too. So he's ready. He's ready, man.
And he will respond. He's not one of those guys that won't respond.
Right.
No. See,
he will.
See, now you're stuck. You got to answer anything that ever gets sent to you, A+, because we said so here.
That's right.
But just keep in mind too, y'all, because it's very encouraging when somebody be like, yeah, send you, be like, oh, I'm about to send you all of mine. You know what I mean? You're gonna get right to it, which is cool. But you just got to remember too, everything might not get seen right away. And don't let that discourage you, because even if you do get the feedback, if it's A+ or whoever you're sending your stuff to, if the feedback that you're getting, you feel like, dang, it just kind of killed my team real quick. Don't look at it like that, because maybe what you sent either honestly just wasn't good enough. Maybe it wasn't what that particular programmer was looking for. Just not the right time. So always be willing to take either criticism from somebody else, but also self-critique yourself as well. You know what I mean? Think about if a listener, this is me getting kind of deep, so I'm gonna be quick because I can do that sometimes. But think about it as a listener, you're a listener when you listen to the radio, when you listen to the TV, when you listen to a sports broadcast, you know what turns you on and turns you off as a listener. Oh, dang, too long, or that, you know what I mean? Listen for those things. And if you feel like in your demo that's what you gave out, or in the first 15 to 30 seconds it was just kind of wah, 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 pay attention to those things, because most times if somebody's gonna decline on your demo, either, like I said, they weren't looking for that right then and there, or it just wasn't that good. So reset. Always be willing to reset and just get back into the game.
Yeah. That's what we teach here at Ohio Media School. A lot of what I do in classroom is critique. When they do a project, we listen to it in class, and I always tell people at the very beginning, don't take it personally. I'm going to tell you things that are good, but I'm also going to tell you things you need to fix. And that, if you're sending it to somebody who might consider hiring you, they may not have a lot of time. They're not there to teach you. But I will tell you that when you do send something to somebody, the first, they can tell, and A+ can back me up on this, in the first 20 seconds, they can tell whether or not they're the least bit interested in you, which means the best stuff better be right up front.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do. And again, if you get some feedback from somebody, take it and run, because you're not going to always get that. They just may just say, nope, sorry, or not even respond. So if somebody offers to give you feedback, not quite ready right now, try to figure out why.
And for the younger people watching, constructive criticism is not hating. They're not the same thing. It's just not. So, if you get some feedback that just isn't to your liking or isn't an echo chamber, like you said, that's not the end all be all. Go back, take some of what you can use. Maybe you can't use it all, but if you can use some of it, try to go, back in the booth and get it right. That's just what it is. It's nowadays you hear it, sometimes you get some feedback and it just may not be received the right way because you might think you're just like, you're hating it. It's just not the case. It's just not the case. So please just always be on point, or try to be on point, and just always, go for it. So
it doesn't benefit anybody like A+ to give negative feedback for no reason. Or feedback that you didn't want to hear for no reason.
Right.
People don't got time for that.
They're looking for quality. That's it. They're looking for specifics, and it may not be the right thing.
Definitely. All right. So from Christopher, this question kind of sort of was answered. I don't know if somebody wants to just leave some last notes for him, but what's the best advice to give someone interested in getting into voiceover work?
The best advice is to continue to practice your craft. It's a combination of what Rodiga said and what I think Ed said earlier too, which is, yes, you want to be a unique voice, but you also have to know how to look at a piece of copy and then make it sound like you're not reading it. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing in voiceover work. So you have to practice doing that to make it sound like you are convincing somebody of something, right? It's normally either a commercial or something along that line where you get a lot of voiceover work, or it's voice acting if you're doing something that's media, entertainment related. But it has to sound like you're not reading it. So practice that craft. And then when you do, again, put together a website, social media, get it out there, and put up samples so that people can find you, and then go to where the voiceover people are. There are a number of different places that do voiceover. Make sure to send your sample to them, and also go to where the jobs are, where, because in All Access, for example, they don't always have people that are looking for work, looking for voiceover people. They always have people that are looking for work as well. So make sure you put your sample there too, where people can find it. That's the key.
I agree with everything Don said as well. Yep, just keep on doing it. Practice.
Yep, and you can find YouTube, voiceover artist compilations on YouTube. So I'm sure, if you want to find some examples, Pat LaFontaine or whoever, the person you want to, emulate, just take a look on YouTube. I'm sure it's there.
And there's a really good website, voices.com, which has a lot of scripts. It has a lot of tips for voiceover artists as well. I turn my students that are really into that onto it all the time. So there's plenty of examples up there. There's plenty of tips, above and beyond what we've been telling you on how to do it well. And I think maybe even how to market yourself.
For sure. All right. So just want to remind everyone, while we're getting down to our last couple of questions, if you do have any, please drop them on us and we'll try to get them answered before this ends. But do not forget to register for that $500. That's our very last gift. We're going to be giving that away very, very, very shortly. So just please make sure you go handle your business for that. Like and share, obviously, this broadcast today. And shout out to Ohio Media School. Next question is from Samaria. They say, how do I try out for a job in this industry? Flat out.
Well, you got to apply. Like, once again, you got to apply for what you want to, work, what profession you're going for. So if you want to be a board operator, I mean, you have to apply for it. And, it doesn't always come with, I won't say you need, experience all the time, but you kind of got to have a sense of what you're applying for. So it's not exactly always a tryout for that position or multiple positions, but you got to at least know exactly what you want to do first.
I also think that, again, let them, definitely, let them know that what you can do. If you make sure that demo is tight, because sometimes when they have somebody come in to run the board, they may also need them to do a weather forecast or something very slight vocal work. So they want to know that you can handle that if something comes up or you need to read some sort of special news item, whatnot. They want to have somebody that can maybe be able to crack the microphone if they have to. So, it doesn't hurt to have a demo put together that's nice and I recognize Samaria from the school here. But yeah, you definitely want to make it a point that demo is tight, that whatever you have that has your voice on it is prepared, because if you're going for a board op position, it may come with something that they need you to do. So definitely do that. But again, it's just a matter of submitting your stuff and getting to the places and finding out where to send things to people like A+ who may be looking, or someone else in the building that may be fielding all of the resumes and audio samples.
Yep.
Get a list.
And from Armand, I graduated during the shutdown stages of the pandemic. How do I still enter the market with a pay decent enough to survive on?
That doesn't always happen at first. You have to build up to that. Sometimes it's a part-time position at first. Take the job anyway, and Uber the rest of the time or something like that. Until it builds into something. It doesn't always come to you as a full-time realized position. But take any job they will give you, because you may do a part-time weekend shift, and then you may go do promotions, hang banners and stuff during the week. Maybe you're good at social media. Maybe you can do some web work or some social media work when you're not on the air. Nowadays, people are hiring people that don't do just one thing. You have to have multiple skill sets. Mm-hmm. And so that may mean a part-time job up front. You may not be able to completely survive on that, but it can continue to lead. If people leave, there's more opportunities that are made. So don't look at it as, can I get a full-time job? Look at it as, where can I go to get opportunities, and continue to, it's the same broken record. Submit your stuff to places that are looking. And that may mean having to go outside of town. You may not be able to get a job in the market that you're in. Right. I'm originally from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and I worked in Vegas because there was a job availability there. And then I went back home, and then the guy that I worked for on Cape Cod was working here in Cleveland doing a morning show, knew I was looking through a mutual friend, and reached out and got me here. So I'm here via Vegas and back home living with mama, and then here. So it doesn't always happen in your hometown. Be willing to look outside of your city as well.
Yeah, I have to just piggyback on what Don is saying, because the first 6 years I worked with the company was in my hometown. Was never full-time, was always part-time. So I managed to have another full-time job or just another part-time job just to supplement that income, because I couldn't live off it alone. My first opportunity full-time was obviously outside of my hometown. So yeah, you have to, get strategic, get creative. If you're a DJ, then by all means, you're probably going to be doing clubs and parties on the side. So, you have to figure it out one way or the other.
I still do that. I still do weddings and parties and stuff. I still got my rig. I got my gear. That's how I did it for years. I work, I did as much club stuff, worked at the roller rink years ago. And it was very weird when my first job, I worked at a club on Cape Cod. They closed at 1 a.m, 9 till 1. And then I did an overnight shift at 2 a.m. So my lunch hour was from 1 to 2 a.m. at Dunkin' Donuts or Denny's. Be flexible.
Right.
Be flexible and just trust the process. I know, especially today, in today's world, again, social media has a way of making it look like, for a lot of people, things happen overnight. You know what I mean? Like, dang, that person was just doing this and now they this. But that's not always the case. And that might not even be real. So the reality is that, like Drake said, started from the bottom, now you're here. In this industry, because there are so many things that you can do on top of whatever you're passionate about, you literally kind of have to climb that ladder. And your story might not look like this person's story. So again, just trust your process and understand that, like Don said, take that job. If you're like, dang, but it's not what I really want to do, but it's a foot in. It's a foot in. It's a way for you to really network. It's a way for you to really get that knowledge that you wouldn't get if you didn't have that job. And then you just work your way up, and you build that confidence and that trust in yourself and in the people that are hiring and promoting. And you really just work your way up, because I've been in the business for a long time. I started out as an intern. I didn't get paid for several months. And now internships that long are unheard of. But for me, I was interning so long, and I was like, no, like, this is what I want. I'm not leaving here till I get paid. And I'm not even from here. And I just wanted this job so bad. So I trusted my process. And to this day, I'm still working on my craft, perfecting my craft, putting my best foot forward, because there's always more. There's so much more. to achieve. So trust the process and just don't give up, for sure. We got one. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Whatever you guys said, I agree with all of that. You know, trust the process, and if you get into the radio station, just if you do promotions, be the best promotion person you can be. Who knows what'll happen? You know what I mean? If you're doing marketing or if you're going out doing other stuff, just be the best person you can be, and you can just climb those ladders. You know, the ladders of success, they're there. You know, but you have to stay patient. That's all. That's one thing we lack sometimes. We want things now, but you have to stay patient. You know what I mean? And you got to stay hungry too. You know, you have to stay hungry too.
Do it all.
And do it all like that.
Yeah. So one last question, and this is for mixers. If I want to be a mixer, can you submit mixes? Plus.
You're right. So can we just submit
it's not
mixes?
It's not going to go anywhere if it comes to me. So.
He said, can we submit mixes? Well, we're not always actively looking for mixes, but I would say personally, I'm a fan of mixes, so I'm always kind of eager to hear them, and we may have guest mixer opportunities. So speaking for myself, because every programmer may not enjoy that, but I do. You know what I mean? So yeah, sure, you can submit mixes.
And again, you know, because it's so easy to do now, you know, it doesn't have to be an hour-long mix or an hour and a half mix. Send 10 minutes of what you can do. If you're a turntablist, show it off early. You know, don't make him listen to 10 minutes before you get to your good stuff. Okay. show off that old school, you know, scratching and trickery early, and then, you know, move into whatever it is you got to do. But definitely show them what you can do, and don't feel like you got to send, you know, the biggest MP3 you ever seen in your life. He's probably not going to listen. You know, the sample means a sample.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
I'm trying to help you out, A+. I'm trying to help you out.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well,
we've seen submissions. We know how they get. But no,
I mix, so I know. You know, I know how that goes.
Yes. So this is awesome. I hope you guys are really enjoying the knowledge today. Hopefully we can do more stuff like this. Don, Ed, thank you guys so much. Plus, of course, thank you so much. Before we get into this giveaway, because I know you are anticipating your name being called, I want to kind of end it with that. So any last remarks for those viewing today? Any last gems?
Well, go ahead.
I'd love the $500 if I can. I put my name in at this point, or no?
No, not you, sir.
Okay. So then that was my quick question.
Okay.
Well, that's all, man. You can't get the $500 back.
You don't get it if you don't ask.
True.
All right, so it looks like we gave y'all all the gems, and hopefully you guys take this and run with it, and we see some stars coming out of this broadcast. Again, please like and share this with your people, and trust the process. Don't give up. Be passionate about it. All right. If this is really what you want to do, there is no shortcut. Every single thing that happens in your journey is meant to happen, and you'll be exactly where you need to be. So,
and definitely, you know, if you're interested, I'm sorry, real quick, just one last plug. You know, I mean, we're here to help a lot of the things you were talking about. A lot of the things that we're talking about, we do right here at the school, and you don't have to go through a power circle to actually ask me the question, right? You know, so we're right here. Me and Ed are right here. You can just
stalk his office and ask him every day.
Yeah, thanks, Ro. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is my office right here. It's all yellow. So definitely come by the office and do that. But you know, this is how to get it done. Again, answers a lot of the questions. If you learn and hone your skills here, you don't have to try to do it the hard way. So, Ohio Media School, something to consider.
Yes.
Definitely. Shout out to you guys and everybody at OMS. We appreciate y'all. So you've been waiting so patiently. $500 is something amazing because hello, it's Christmas time. And if you just want to pocket it for yourself, Merry Christmas. So congratulations. Christopher LaShore is getting $500. So congratulations to you and all our winners today. And congratulations to y'all for just tapping into this power circle, because everybody can do this, and shame on the people who didn't get this knowledge today. But you got it, and you got $500.
My power circle here.
All right, thank you guys so much. Be blessed. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.